Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We're learning Mishnah Shabbos. We begin Perek Yud Zayin, chapter 17, Mishnah Aleph, Mishnah 1. I'd like to dedicate this morning's learning in memory of my mother, Ms. Shlomis Rabinowitz, Shlomis Bas Rav Yaakov Eliezer. Learning should be an aliyah for her neshama. Okay. Kol HaKelim Mitolim B'Shabbos. All vessels can be moved on Shabbos. V'dal Seiseyan Imohen, and their doors with them. Af al pishen isparku, even though the door came off b'Shabbos on Shabbos. So this is the case. You've got like a little closet or a little chest, and the door of the closet came off. So now the discussion is that door muktzah? Meaning, is it now is it now in a status that you're not allowed to move it? Right now, the door that came off the box has no usage. Right, it was a door for the box before. It's not a door now, and it really seemingly wasn't meant to be anything else other than the door of a box, and therefore there'd be reason to say that now it's muktzah. Now, if the door, so they bring down here on the bottom, if the door became detached from the vessel on Shabbos, it is certainly not muktzah because it was attached when Shabbos began. Meaning, the status of muktzah very much depends on the status of this vessel when Shabbos begins. So if when Shabbos began, this door was still connected to the vessel, then it's clearly easier to say that it's not muktzah because it was part of the vessel when Shabbos began. However, our Mishna is saying that even if the door became detached before Shabbos, before Shabbos, it wasn't part of the vessel. It wasn't being usable. It wasn't usable as part of the vessel. It is still permitted. We still say it's not a problem. We still say that this door is not muktzah. The reason it's not muktzah is because your plan is to eventually reattach it. Therefore, we still see it as part of the vessel. In the same way the vessel isn't muktzah, so too the door is not muktzah. Now, the wording of the Mishnah is that the door can be carried with them, even though it came off, which sounds like, or literally translated, that means that while you're carrying the box, you can carry the door also, even though the door is not attached. But according to the halacha, it's even more than that. Let's say the door fell off of the box, and you want to just carry the door itself. You may, because since the plan is to return the door back to the vessel, it's still considered part of the vessel, and therefore not muktzah. The Mishnah continues, these doors of the vessels are not similar to a house door. Because a house door is not prepared. It's not prepared to be moved. And that means like this. A door came off the hinge on Shabbos. Okay? The door is part of the house. It now came off the hinge. Is it muktzah or not? Now, you may say, well, I'm planning on putting the door back up, so it's part of the house. Right. But your house is not movable, right? Your house is a stationary thing, right? A house is a house, right? You don't pick up the house. You don't move the house. You don't use the house itself. And therefore, saying that the door is part of the house isn't going to help you. Because even when it's part of the house, it wasn't meant to be moved. Yes, it's meant to be open and shut, but not meant to be moved or used separately from the house. Now, if the point of the Mishnah is the difference between the door of the box, right, that's also off now, and we say, well, but it's going to go back on, so it still has the status of the vessel, and the house door that you're also planning on putting back up is because the house door as part of the house wasn't meant to be moved. And therefore, it doesn't help to say, well, I still see a part of the house. It's not meant to be moved. And as of right now, it's not where right. As of right now, it's not what it's supposed to be. It has no real usage other than what it was meant to be before. I mean, you could decide to use it, I don't know, to transport things, but that's not what it was meant for. And that's not typically what it'd be used for either. And therefore, the Mishnah is saying the door of the closet, of the chest, being that when it was part of the chest, it was meant to be moved. So even though now it came off the chest, we see it as part of the chest because it's going to go back on. And since as part of the chest, it was going to be moved, now it could also be moved. Now it's also not muktzah. But a house door that comes off doesn't have that. It doesn't have that argument. It doesn't have that svara. It doesn't have that logic. The house door that comes up, it's going to go back onto the house, but it was still never meant to be moved. And therefore, on Shabbos, when it's when it's part of the house, you can open and close it. It's not muktzah then. But when it comes off the house, and therefore it's not what it was meant to be used for, therefore it becomes muktzah. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And thank you, Misha.
Okay.
You're welcome.